genius that are running the show. So, friends, the only answer I've come up with is from birth. This is the way God would have it. I firmly believe. I don't. It's a perfect idea. Is just look. It's your planet because it's my planet, saith the Lord, and you're my equally beloved children. So here you go. Okay, we hand out shares at birth. You understand? So you go, wow. I mean, there's no point in putting in dollars and cents, but you realize, well, that's a lot of lumber. That's a lot of timber. Because we're just passing through, right? We're going to live for, we'll be here a little while and we die. It's a very insecure, brief existence we experience here. I mean, we've got to see things realistically. And that's real. Be here now. Okay. Realize the imminence of your eternity is comprised of but a series of moments. This is your eternity. You are all that you're going to ever be. This is it. You got to get comfortable with it. How are you going to do that? Live for today, man. You might be dead today. You got one little tiny window of opportunity before, it slams shut on our little winkies for all of us. I'm in the same boat. I know what it's like to be human. Believe me, I do. I mean, the forces are powerful. God, they're more powerful than I ever knew. When I was a much younger man with a much more powerful, what do they call this thing? All I know is when I was a lot younger, a lot more vital, I was stronger in some ways than I am now, in ways that you would never expect. But hey, these things happen. And I mean, the direction my country has been going is just conducive to me wanting to slash my wrists. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. And I know it's out there collectively too. I mean, it cannot not be. Okay, people cannot have their cost of living being driven up and not experience fear. And that fear is in the atmosphere. It's there. It's a pool. That's why we're picking it up osmotically. It's a scientific principle that the fact is that God created us inextricably interconnected for a reason, so that we would figure out we got to fix our problems collectively as a family. If you want your individual personal problem to be fixed, if you want to be stronger here and there and stop metaphorically slashing your wrist in some way and by engaging in some form of escapism, whether it's retail therapy or gambling or drugs or alcohol or smoking tobacco or food addictions or porn addictions, sex addictions, whatever the case may be. Like King Solomon said, there's no end under the sun to our folly. That's the nature of the beast. That's us, man. Okay? We like what we like, and that's it. I mean, God made us with a powerful drive to utilize our sexuality. This is the commandment: go forth, be fruitful, and multiply. But it's only proper in one way, between a husband and a wife. But yet, is that what we see? Show me a man that's living that way. There's very few. But I mean, I'm sure, I hope there's some, but it's very few and far between. We're weak, we're pathetic, but at least it reflects back upon the drive to procreate that God put in a man. He really loves it. It's an irresistible attraction is the female. It's just like magnetism. You get close to it, and I mean, it just sucks you in. And we know that, it's improper to be, involved with relatives and that's good. There's a good reason not to have incest and improper relations, okay? Because they're very difficult psychologically, emotionally. It's a big deal getting involved in a sexual relationship with a woman. Guys with any experience understand that, okay? I mean, promiscuity goes so far, but at this point in my life, and for a long time when I was 23, I wouldn't consummate the relationship with my wife before she agreed to marry me. So I've been like that for a long time. That doesn't mean I've been perfect, but that's the principle I really hold highest. But I'm just saying, there's a lot of crap, as everybody knows. Everybody knows, and it's powerful crap. It's something we shouldn't have to be aware of, but we are. And this goes back to our sin nature and our fallen state. This sense of separation that feels so bad, the guilt, the shame. You feel, 2 inches tall, and you feel pathetic and pitiable. And And it's just we're all connected and we're all just these humans, but it doesn't help to be small-minded and narrow-minded and feel like an automaton, a brute beast, like you're just another warm body and nobody needs you and you don't even believe you need you and the world doesn't need you and all this. I mean, it's like, it's a polar opposite of ego. It's not a healthy form of humility. Okay, we should have high self-esteem, knowing that we are God's children, very special creatures. We're cosmic, eternal creatures in the image and likeness of God. I mean, we're it. On all the earth, we are the most valuable thing to God, is the souls of men. He wants to have friends. Okay, that's what he wants. That's the relationship he wants, and he wants us to serve him. When we get it, when we get the rewards, are great. When we go out there and serve his purposes by trying to win friends for him, doing our best, and he's got to use flawed people, because if he only used perfect people, he wouldn't be able to use anybody. Okay, I mean, that's just the way I believe it is. I don't. All these preachers that go to seminary and stuff, I don't know what happens. I think they get lobotomies or something. But we're so individual. But when I hear a lot of similar rhetoric, and I love the preachers, don't get me wrong, and every man deserves his pay and all that, his wages, his bread. He's doing a great public service for God and man, preaching the good news of the gospel, Jesus Christ, and all. So I respect people making a living at it, and the schooling, they felt that was the right way. It's like we've got to give people the benefit of the doubt. It's just like people that believe in vaccine, my own children, anybody. I mean, I respect your beliefs. Now, would you please respect mine? We all deserve dignity. Do you like dignity? Then give me dignity. And we've all got to have that attitude, that spirit from God to stand in this thing and just, treat each other the way we want to be treated. That's it. Living by that golden rule. You need compassion. You need mercy. You need empathy. You need understanding. Sometimes you need kid gloves. You feel fragile. You feel vulnerable. Then we've got to think about other people feeling more that way. And the next person you meet might be getting ready to go home and blow their brains out. And you might be the last person they talk to. You don't have any idea. But angels are watching. All kinds of cosmic crap's going on. God's paying attention. He cares about the minutiae, human relations and stuff. How we treat the least of men. See, it's not just the stuff we're doing wrong. The sins and wrongdoing to others and anything, wrong behavior, evils, goings on and all that crap. But it's the stuff we're failing to do. You see, this is where we can all have blinders on. Is the stuff that we should be doing, and that we will be given real rewards, powerful, eternal rewards for doing his work now and being his servants of our own free will and accord and loving him because he loved us, and in that way, and we love others, and it's all copacetic, and it's a symbiotic and relationship that we have with God, and he's living vicariously through us as we live vicariously through him, and we can see through his eyes, and his will for us is no mystery. It's not a secret. It's not hidden. It's actually glaringly obvious. All we have to do is admit it. Just be honest. We're all without excuse. Okay? We can't contend with any form of money. Eventually, we've got to wean ourselves off. And true capitalism, if the game's being played fair, would find a way to do that through supply and demand principles. And as essentially, in a nutshell, we as a purportedly civilized society, as we find easier and easier methods to produce all the things we need and want, then those things become increasingly less costly, less expensive. So the worth of our money naturally under capitalism goes up in worth. And anybody, even a little kid, can see the end from the beginning there. You see eventually what's going to happen. As money becomes less and less relevant, we see the absurdity, the stupidity of saying we need this stuff, and we're able to get off it completely. We could wean ourselves off it. It doesn't have to be harsh and traumatic. This could be a gentle experience. But we've been going the opposite direction my whole life. And you think I have no right to be upset about this? And an apologist to the younger generations, all of them, and say, I'm sorry for any part I played in not being more dramatic and more emphatic and more demanding of justice for the downtrodden, the dispossessed, the disenfranchised. Okay? I apologize. I'm sincerely, genuinely sorry, because that's a wrath of God. I'm looking at standing before God. That's what I don't want to have to explain. I don't want to stand before God and defend money in any of its sundry forms. No. And I want to persuade you that you don't want to be on that side either. Think it through. Think it through. Think of the evils. Look at the evils through all history. That the heart, it just too easily corrupts the hearts and minds of men. It's got to go. In all its sundry incarnations, it's all got to go. If you want to be here in the world of tomorrow, you got to be willing to have a level playing field from birth. That's it, all the way through. Nobody taking advantage over anybody else. Nobody having an advantage over anybody else. Furthermore, nobody even wanting an advantage over anybody else. But using our God given instinct to not be useless and go out there and serve in some capacity. That's all that's expected of us, is to follow our instinct, because it's very unnatural for a man to be a decadent, lazy piece of you know what. It's very unnatural. He wants to be appreciated. He wants to be useful. If he's ever to have a modicum of gratification, contentment, satisfaction, okay, and happiness, quite frankly. That's just the way God made us. So this idea that we can't get off money altogether is a lie from the very pit of hell. All right, friends. Yeah, we've got a hunger and thirst for righteousness. Those that do that genuinely, sincerely, in the marrow of their very hearts and minds, souls, spirits, okay, those are the ones that are going to be filled. That's what's written. That's why it's good news to the righteous. I mean, this is the only way I can cope and contend. I got to believe God's a good guy, and that eventually the worm's going to turn and the righteous are going to prevail. Because they want, I mean, the unrighteous, the evil men out there have nothing to fear from the righteous running the show. You see, this is the irony of the whole thing. They're out of their minds. You understand? Anybody that wants to win in a rigged game is off their nut a bit. Okay, that's it. You're off. That's a test. If you want to test yourself to see if you're insane, you're crazy, that's it. That you're willing to, you detest it. God's watching. I mean, look at the people that are suffering down here. People are dying. I mean, this is the way it works, is that people got to be homeless and suffer unnecessarily and die sometimes in order to extract the exorbitant rents and mortgages. And I'm going to comply and conform and capitulate to this system and say it's A-OK and be prosperous myself and say, hey, I'm sorry, you got to get on board with the dog-eat-dog thing. I mean, I'm a good guy too. Look at me, nice, soft-spoken, sweet. Everybody likes me, gentleman. But I got to look after myself and my family. So who doesn't get it? I mean, you understand how easy it is to be in the wrong line here? There's only two lines. One goes to the place where the bullies go, and the other goes to the place where the good guys, the righteous people go, the meek, that will eventually inherit the earth. And I'm trying to convince the unrighteous people that you want to make sure that, just check in, man. Ask God, is my heart pure? If not, then change it, because I want to be in the right line here. And if it means I got to do what's written in Scripture and use worldly wealth to win friends and just give the crap away, then God give me the strength to do it, because I love money and I'm trying to amass a fortune here. The last thing I want to be tasked to do is to give my bread away, that I hard-earned bread, But friends, I mean, I don't have any other solution at how to redeem ourselves. Okay, I mean, it's like in these recovery programs they talk about this the stinking thinking, that we get into is it's rough. It's rough, and humans all do it. We all have an addictive nature. I mean, even collectors, they're addicts. We're all addictive. So we all understand, that prosperity is addictive. Riches are addictive. People are insatiable. We never get enough. And so a lot of people have this idea that we're terminally unique. That's another thing you hear in these 12-step programs. But we are interconnected. And we need to understand that. We've got to care. And if we don't care, then we have no business expecting to go to a place where somebody cares about us. We've got to expect a taste of our own medicine. We have got to expect that what goes around comes around. That the law of karma is real. As you sow, so you reap. It's scientific stuff. You could say, oh, that's all religious hoo-ha. Hey, listen, friend. Ethics and all this stuff, I mean, it has teeth. because the pendulum swings both ways. That's scientific fact. But friends, by design, through engineering, okay, by evil geniuses at the very uppermost echelons of power in this world, our interests have been glaringly and incontrovertibly divided. We can't deny that. It's based on money, right? I'm talking about finances, economics.